everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of my Blood Elf Warlock Let's Play series, where we have been exploring a lot of the Ghostlands, and we now have the southwestern area of the map to complete, where I think this title thing is a bug because last episode I had the same thing happen to me, where I don't have a set plan for what I specifically want to do and like what order I want to do things in, but I'm just going to come over to this area of the world and I'm just going to start completing quests, where I'm very excited to explore Windrunner Village and Windrunner Spire, and there is a very specific quest that drops in this area that I really want to do this episode. And there's Luzran right there. I'm going to go around him because we already got his head, but we need to find a Knuckle Rot and get his head as well, where we have the Dead Scar here with all of the undead, and it leads to Deathhome, which we will be exploring very soon as we are getting close to the end of the Ghostlands. But there are a bunch of other undead around here, such as Knuckle Rot. Alright, let's go ahead and maybe start this fight like this. Let's go ahead and do my classic rotation, bring out the Dreadstalkers, and then just spam Shadow Bolt. And I'm going to pay attention to our minion's health because I want to give him health in case he starts getting low, because he's currently tanking for us. But it seems like we are good, and I got some nice procs there. And we killed Knuckle Rot very easily, so we have now completed this quest. And you just have to go deliver the head of Knuckle Rot and Luzrug, which went somewhere. Not Luzrug, Luzran. I just said his name earlier too. But around this area, we do have some spindleweb lurkers, and we have some gnolls around here. And I think there's another quest right here with the gnolls. I think there's a character we can find, so I'm going to look out for them. At least I thought there was a quest. Maybe there's one right over here. Where, oh, okay, there is a quest giver here who's going to give us a quest to do something. I think we need to get like some ore, yes, some underlight ore. So let's go ahead and accept that, where we can go ahead and start fighting some of these gnolls, where there's also this gargoyle attacking us. Where these gnolls are actually very interesting because they have an updated model from the Dragonflight expansion. I believe they were updated with the Dragonflight, and they look pretty cool, but they're definitely different than how they used to be back during the original Burning Crusade, which is a common trend that we see when we are playing through retail WoW zones and we are going to like old pieces of content, where like that gargoyle we just fought looks like the gargoyles from the original vanilla version of the game. At least I think that's the same model with the same textures. But these gnolls are updated, so we have like a 2004 model right there, and then these like blood elves are like a 2014 model, I think is when they were updated. And now we have these gnolls, which are a 2020, is it 2022 is when Dragonflight came out? I don't exactly remember, but we have like 3 different years with 3 different expansions that have 3 different models, all in the same general area of each other, which I think is funny. These imps might have a specific model from a specific year. I'm not sure when they were updated. I think the Felguard, oh, we just lost our Felguard. I think our Felguard has a pretty old model as well. And I think that's just something interesting when we're exploring through the zones on retail WoW, because it's kind of like unique to retail in many ways, where in classic all the things are classic except for like the incubus model for warlocks. That's kind of like an updated model that they added into classic. All right, let's go ahead and summon our Felguard again. Where a lot of people enjoy playing through classic because all of the models are the classic models, of course, and everything looks a little bit more cohesive compared to like going through these expansions in retail WoW, where it's also like a completely different experience to play through this zone and to play as a warlock in the zone in retail WoW than it is like even in like Cataclysm, for example, and especially in the original Burning Crusade, where the experience just differs depending on what year you're playing World of Warcraft. Even though it's all like the same like baseline experience, like this quest has always been here, but like an individual's experience drastically changes over the years as World of Warcraft drastically changes over the years, which is one of the reasons why so many people enjoy like having World of Warcraft Classic and the Burning Crusade Classic and whatnot, because it allows an opportunity for people to play a specific version of World of Warcraft that they enjoy more, because people can play retail World of Warcraft and they can come here to play retail World of Warcraft. But if somebody wants to play through the original Burning Crusade experience with how it was during the original Burning Crusade, they have to play on a Burning Crusade Classic realm, which currently does not exist, but we know we are getting some back, at least for a temporary time in the future, which is exciting. Let's go ahead and health funnel our Felguard here. Just give him some more health. We did get the attention of the Shaman. We need to fight a few more scavengers. And I need one more piece of ore, which I should get any second now. And there's our orb. I got one extra even. So now let's just kill 4 more scavengers, and we can see Windrunner village off in the distance. We have a chest right here we can open, which probably doesn't have too many good things in it. Some healing potions, which I don't think are really going to heal us much. And then we got some Delaran sharp cheese and a little bit of copper, which is nice. There are some spiders right here that I can go ahead and grab. And I noticed as we completed the Underlight Ore Samples quest, it's going to take us to the Sanctum of the Sun, an area that we passed by but we haven't really been to yet. So we can go ahead and go there as we return to the Farstrider Enclave to turn in the Curbing the Plague quest. But first, we have one more scavenger right over here that we can go ahead and kill. So let's go ahead and grab his attention. And then a very basic enemy, we can just go ahead and cast Shadow Bolt multiple times. And that concludes our adventures in this quarry. Where it's kind of fun to see like a group of gnolls here in the Ghostlands, because there are like gnolls that like used to exist in this area of the world, but like the Plague of Undeath definitely devastated a lot of the local populations around here. And as Arthas marched through this area of the world and killed them. Which I believe when you're playing Warcraft 3, you can encounter like no camps during the missions in this area of the world, which are just like neutral creep camps that like you can just kill for some extra gold and like some drops that you can use on your hero, like if you're playing as Arthas, which you should be in, I feel like every mission. I don't exactly remember. But we need 2 more spiders. So I see one here. There's a lot of gnolls off in that area. And we have some gargoyles over there that we can fight. Oh, there's a spider. Let's go ahead and go this way really quickly. We don't have too many skills that help our movement. We have to like mount up to get a movement speed boost. We do have the demonic circle that we can like put down in a specific area, but that doesn't really help us with like moving forward in a direction, like having some sort of like charge ability like on our warrior. But it does help us move back to somewhere that we were, so it's kind of nice. But it's maybe less nice in the open world. Where there's the last spider we need. And now we have this village here, where we've had like Golden Mist Village and Suncrown Village. Now we have Windrunner Village, which is another one of the Blood Elves villages, but is named after the Windrunner family, which they were a very prominent family, and are still a pretty prominent family, where I believe the Windrunner family themselves lived in their spire just south of here, but they like lorded over this village or whatever. And we can go ahead and try to clear it out of the undead, and then we can head over to the spire and clear that out of the undead as well. We need phantasmal substances, so we have to kill a variety of these ghosts here, and then some gargoyle fragments. And I think that's all we have to do here. Where over at the spire we just have to kill some of the undead, where there are fallen rangers, which is actually very, very cool to see, as well as some death home acolytes, so some like living servants of the scourge. But over there is one quest that has a random chance of dropping from, I think, the fallen rangers, so we want to be on the lookout for that. But it's fun to see like the variety of different undead minions and minions of the scourge that we can find throughout here, where we're fighting gargoyles and we're fighting ghosts, and we're about to fight like necromancers and like risen rangers. And we've been fighting a variety of skeletons and a variety of zombies and whatnot, where I think that's one of the reasons why I love the Scourge like so much, is because there's such a wide variety of different types of Scourge minions. We fought some Nerubians earlier, I believe, where they're basically like spider creatures. We need one more Gargoyle fragment, but still a few more of these phantasmal substances. And we are getting pretty close. Oh, there's a Gargoyle. Pretty close to leveling up to level 25. So I'm really interested to see what level we leave this zone at, because we left Blood Missile on Archer and I had level 28, I believe. And I'm not really doing anything particularly different. I'm just completing all the quests available in the zone, and I'm just fighting the monsters needed in order to like complete those quests. And I'm exploring the areas of every area of each zone. So we see if we like leave at level 28, or if we leave a little bit earlier or a little bit later, just to see kind of like the difference between two zones that are supposed to be basically like the same, like a relative experience as each other. Right, there we go, level 25, and another chest in here that we can go ahead and get. Right now I just need one Gargoyle fragment, and this chest had a fair few more things in it, which is nice. But let's come over here to this Gargoyle, and let's look at our demonology tree, where we need to get one more point in order to go down there, where we can have their Dread Bite deal damage in an AoE and deal more damage, or they can potentially deal more damage. There's a 10% chance to trigger an additional Dread Bite, so 10% chance for double damage, or a steady 10% more damage. So I feel like that's like, I don't know how the math works, but like basically the same. Got a nice proc here that we can just launch at that Acolyte, where I'm actually really enjoying Warlock in retail World of Warcraft. Where, oh, there we go, the Lady's Necklace, where we can take this necklace to High Executor Mavrin, where it is the lost property of Lady Sylvanas Windrunner herself, which of course Sylvanas, at the time of the Burning Crusade, is the leader of the Forsaken, and she has her two sisters, Ilaria, which is lost in the Twisted Nether, but she returns to the world of the Legion expansion. And then we have Verisa, is her name, correct? Which we see in the Wrath-Lich-King expansion. And all three sisters play a part here and there throughout World of Warcraft's story. But Sylvanas is probably like the biggest and like most central character in World of Warcraft story, where we have a plaque which requires us to be level 50. Not entirely sure what this is. This might be related to Blood Elf Heritage quest or something. But we can see this cool statue right here, which is of one of the Windrunner sisters. I'm not exactly sure which one it would be. I'm sure the plaque would say. Where our minion is about to die. Let's see if he can save his life there. Or I notice he dies a lot, and I think he does have less health than the Voidwalker, but I feel like he does just slightly better at holding threats and does deal a fair bit more damage. But it's fun being up here so high up into the zone, because we can look out across the zone and see like so many beautiful sights with like the ocean there, and then we can see over towards the Night Elf area, and we can see all the way into Eversong Woods. There's a lot of zones that have like similar names, like Crystal Song Forest from World of Warcraft, or from Wrath of the Lich King, and then we have Eversong Woods from the Burning Crusade. We need 2 more Acolytes and 1 more Fallen Ranger, so we should be able to just kill that group over there and complete this quest, where we can then go all around the world and turn in a bunch of quests. There's the last Acolyte down. And we only need to kill 1 more Ranger. Let's try to pull this one back. It looks like that's not going to work out for us, because she's just going to attack us from afar. But that completes our quest. Let's just leap into here really quickly. and then we can escape out this way, where we can get onto our Hawkstrider, and maybe we could go kill a few undead. I don't think I'm going to complete this quest right now, but we can progress it a little bit. Back in the Dead Scar, we have all of these undead, and they don't show that they drop the quest items, but I'm pretty sure they do. And we can get a nice closer look of the entrance to Deathhome there, where it's been looming off in the distance for a while now, and soon enough we will go through those gates, where this is basically like the start of the Dead Scar, where we are at like the very end of it, where we have the Sunwell Plateau, which I explored in I guess it's been a little bit, but I explored it in a stream somewhat recently, and it's fun to see the Dead Scar end there. So we can just like travel it from here up to Silvermoon City, and then you do have to fly to the Isle of Codanis, but then you can explore over there as well, where I was getting some rotting hearts, which is fun. Let's go ahead and get a few more pieces of spinal dust, and then I do think we are going to have a quest to come back here, so I don't think I want to necessarily complete this right now, but we can go ahead and just clear a few of them. There's another spinal dust for us, and now let's go ahead and go to Sanctum of the Sun and then Farstrider Enclave, and let's see what quests we get over here, and then we can return to Tranquillian, where I'm very excited to turn into the necklace, where we have a quest right here actually that I completely missed, Apprentice Forel, where we could slay Greater Spindlewebs and Ghostclaw Ravagers around here. So they're just in like the southern areas, so we can go ahead and deal with them. But let's come this way first, where we have the Sanctum of the Sun, which we passed by a couple of times, and you can see it right here, similar to the other sanctums we have seen around these areas. But this is kind of an important area because this is where we are going to get some of the final quests in the Ghostlands, where they are acting against Deathhome, where we have the Magister here that we can go ahead and deliver this ore to. And we have completed this quest, which we are going to return here in the future for our quest that we get at some point. But we are now revered with Tranquillian, which is fun, so we can go ahead and get a new item from the merchant, I believe. But with how all the scaling works in modern World of Warcraft, I don't think that's going to be very beneficial for us. Into the Enclave once again, we have this Farstrider here, where this is an upgrade for us, so let's go ahead and equip that. And I thought we got one more quest here, but the quest that I was thinking of is actually the one down here, so I believe we are now officially done with the Enclave, which actually I don't think I want a Hearthstone to Tranquillian, because I think we're going to return soon, or we're going to want the Hearthstone soon. So let's go ahead and just run this way naturally. We just explored Sungray's Peak, which I believe is like the mountain right there, which is fun. But back in Tranquillian, we have a ton of quests to turn in, where we get our first ring, which is pick the Caster's Ring, where we can go ahead and equip that, where it is a rare upgrade, which is fun. And then we have, I think, 2 quests in here that we can turn in, or 3. Where here's the Underlined Mines quest, and then we have retaking Windrunner Spire, where we are done with that quest. And he says, you say you found that in one of the Scourge of Windrunner Spire, and that there's an inscription on it. Let me see. Here, take this coin for a job well done. This is quite extraordinary. It appears to be a gift to Lady Sylvanas Windrunner from her sister Elaria. You must take it to her in the Undercity at once. The lady holds court in the royal quarter. To get there, use the orbit translocation in the inner sanctum of Sun Fury Spire and Silvermoon City to cross over to the Undercity. Once there, take the elevator ride down into the city proper. Use your maps if you need help finding the royal quarter. So we have a quest to go to the Undercity, which is located right here in Terrasval Glades, and I think that's really, really fun, where we get to go to the Undercity for a quest. Where I think an optimal way to do this is to finish all the quests in the Ghostlands and then go to the Undercity, because you do get a quest to go there once you are done with all the quests here. But I think I'm actually going to go ahead and go there now, because that's what I tend to do whenever I come through this area of the road. So to be authentic to my past playthroughs, let's go ahead and do just that. But first, we can turn into this quest here,
Farewell.
where we get nothing that I really want, so I'll just go ahead and sell those items. And now we have this quest over here that we got, so let's go ahead and pick this up really quickly, where we can go ahead and go to the Sanctum of the Sun. So we can go ahead and begin our final adventures in the map over there, where we had to complete the Windrunner village quest in order to get this quest. But after clearing out my inventory, let's go ahead and take a Dragon Hawk, where we could take it to the Undercity actually if we wanted, but let's take it to Silver Moon City, and let's do it the way that it's intended, because back in the Burning Crusade, we do not have all the fly paths unlocked for us at the start of the game. Which, as we fly over that way, I did level up to level 26, so we have a new talent in the Warlock tree, and oh, I forgot to get my health stone, my soul stone, but we have a new section that we can begin working down towards, where we need to spend 12 more points in order to unlock this section down here, but we have a lot available for us now, where Drain Life will heal us a little bit, which is fun. Our health stone heals you for an additional 10%. We can increase the amount of damage required to break your fear, or your fear causes the target to tremble in place instead of fleeing in fear. That's actually very nice. Demonic Gateway, where we can create the gate between two places, and we have Lifeblood. When you use a Healthstone, gain 4% leech for 20 seconds. I think I want a lot of these. Shadow Fury looks fun. Let's go ahead and pick up Demonic Gateway, because I want to go ahead and just check it out for a moment, where we have our Demonic Circle and our Demonic Circle Teleport, where we can create a Demonic Gateway between two locations. Activating the gateway transports the user to the other gateway. Each player can use a Demonic Gateway once per 90 seconds. This is super nice for raiding, so we can go ahead and put it down at max distance all the way over there, and we have these two gates that we can just use to teleport between the two, and we cannot use this again because we have used it and we have to wait 90 seconds. But this is nice if you're tanking a boss right here and you have the group right here, but then there's a mechanic over there, for example, that you need players to instantly. You can use the Demonic Gateway to get over there in order to deal with the mechanic or whatever, where there's not a lot of loss of DPS where you spend time running back that way. Where it's really nice if an area of the room is about to fill up or whatever with some poisonous ground that you need to avoid, you can just instantly avoid it, which is fun. But now let's focus on our quest to go to the Undercity, where we need to go to Sun Fury Spire because we saw the orbit translocation there. Where there is a variety of music that does play in Silver Moon City, which is fun. But here we are in the Spire, and we are dismounted. Where I love the look of the Royal Guard, and of course some of the most important members of Quothalos right there hanging out, the Region Lord of Quothalos even. But we have the Inner Sanctum here, where we have this Orb of Translocation, and I think we have a 30% chance to just instantly die when we use this because of how retail World of Warcraft is right now, but I think they might have fixed it, so that's why I say 30%. Let's see what happens when we translocate to the Undercity. So we can go ahead and load into this part of the Eastern Kingdoms, where we can see Sylvanas on the loading screen art right here, right next to Lord Thamar Thuron, which is fun, and some of the leaders of the Alliance. And as we load into the Ruins of Lordaeron, we are actually not dead. So something that happens with the Battle for Azeroth expansion is the Undercity is actually kind of destroyed, and where the entire area is poisoned. So if you get teleported into this area of the road when it's the Battle for Azeroth version, you're actually probably going to die. But we got loaded into the Cataclysm version, since that should be the version of the game that we are currently in right now, as we are playing through Eversong Woods and the Ghostlands. We are in this version, which is very nice. where we can go ahead and explore the Undercity, where I've spent a lot of time here in my Undead Priest Hardcore Let's Play series, as well as my Orc Shaman Let's Play series, where we need to go to the Royal Quarter, which is where Sylvanas is located. So it's just a short trek over there. And through this hallway, we can find the throne room, where there is Lady Sylvanas Windrunner, and we have one of the hands of the war chief here instead of Armothras because of the events of Wrath of the Keen, where we also have Charlindra, which is a fallen ranger as well, similar to the ones that we fought. But here is Sylvanas Windrunner, where she is marked as a war chief right now, where she is the war chief of the Horde. During this time, I suppose this is like right before Battle for Azeroth, but she is also the Banshee Queen.
I have no time for games. What are we if not slaves to this torment?
Where we can turn in Journey to the Undercity, and she says,
"We will slaughter anyone who stands in our way."
That, as well as, and you are, what's that you have there? That necklace looks somehow familiar. Give it here.
What joy is
Sylvanas
there
takes the
in this
necklace from your
curse?
grasp. It can't be. After all this time, I thought it was lost forever. After a lingering moment, the lady seems to become aware once again of her surroundings, composing herself. You thought this would amuse me? Do you think I long for a time before I was the queen of the Forsaken? Like you, it means nothing to me, and Ilaria Windrunner is a long dead memory. She drops the amulet to the ground. You may now remove yourself from my presence, Warlock. So let's go ahead and complete this quest.
Time for games.
Where she looks down at the discarded necklace. In her sadness, the lady incants a glamour which beckons forth highborn spirits. The chamber resonates with their ancient song about the Sindori. The ambassador says, "That could have gone better, Athelsalian. Come here, please. I have something I need you to take care of for me." So, an incredibly beautiful moment where she kneels down and picks up the amulet after saying Belore. Or this is maybe one of the most popular moments in all World of Warcraft questing, where you deliver this necklace. and that performance happens.
What joy is there in
Where
this
we have a quest to go to Ragefire Chasm, and we have this person here who says, I've heard something of your exploits at the Thessalian. I know that while you're here in Forsaken Lands that you'll comport yourself with dignity and as a true hero of the Sidori. What is it that you have for me, Ambassador? Just a small songbook that I thought you might like to have. It contains the lyrics to a song known as The Lament of the Highborn, the one that Lady Sylvanas clambered from the air.
Remember the sun.
We can go ahead and read this. Lament of the Highborn, loosely translated version, Thalassian version. So a very, very cool moment where I'll go ahead and store that there. And I think now we can hearth back to Tranquillian. So it is definitely better that we saved the Hearthstone for now, because we can get back a little bit quicker. Where we are starting to narrow down on the total amount of quests that we have in the Ghostlands, where I currently have like 3 right now, where I can go to the Sanctum of the Sun. But let's go ahead and work on clearing the way first, where we can go ahead and kill some of these Ghostclaw Ravagers and these Greater Spindle Web. A ton of undead everywhere, of course. There's Knucklerot hanging out. But as we come to the southern areas right over here, there's actually a couple of things that I want to check out while we were down here. But of course, we have to kill a bunch of these creatures along the way. Where we have spent quite a bit of time killing some of these plague creatures around the Ghostlands, and that is of course an important thing to do because we need to put them out of their misery and hopefully allow the non-plagued creatures to thrive in their place as this area of the world begins to heal. And going back to what I was talking about when we first arrived in the Ghostlands, it'll be interesting to see how this place changes when we see this area updated in the Midnight's expansion. Because when we look at the western and eastern Plaguelands from vanilla World of Warcraft, we see that they have healed a little bit in the time between vanilla and their update in the Cataclysm version of the game. So it'll be interesting to see if this area is a bit more green and tranquil and just less deathy in general. But as we come right over here, we are right outside of Deathhome. But there's this little area that I've just always loved, where we have this pond here with a few little islands in the center of it, and just like a ton of mushrooms, as well as a variety of other plants. And I always thought this was such a cool little detail, where I don't think there's anything that you come here for. I think it's just a random little area off in the corner of this map that serves no purpose but is beautiful. And if you watch my YouTube channel and my other videos, especially my Guild Wars 2 videos, you know how much I love things like that, and I'm so happy that that is here in this map. But we also have this area over here, which is a little bit more important than that random pond. And this is the exit out of the Ghostlands if we were traveling through the world normally. Right, let's go ahead and just explore it a little bit, where we have the Thalassian Pass. Now, with the original Burning Crusade, we have the Ghostlands here, which is like a level 20 area, and then we have the Eastern Plaguelands, which was originally like a level 55 to 60 area, where it's now, I think in Cataclysm is like a level 35 to level 40 area, and now it just depends on if you're doing time walking or not. It can go all the way up to level 70. Where in the original vanilla, this area in the Eastern Plaguelands side of it is actually blocked off with logs, and you cannot get into here. And there is a blood elf on the other side that like basically like talks about it a little bit, and I think we can meet that blood elf here. But as we come through this little gatehouse right here, we can come to the other side, which looks similar to the Eastern Plaguelands, and we can actually enter the Eastern Plaguelands. Where I talked about this in my Draenei Warrior Let's Play series, but to summarize it, we have the Ghostlands and the Eversong Woods, which is mechanically in the Eastern Plague, or which is lore-wise in the Eastern Plaguelands, but mechanically it's actually in the same world as Outland. So if you were able to like fly away from Netherstorm, for example, and go off in whatever direction it is, you would be able to find this map in Outland. And that is because they added the entire new world space of Outland, and they just bundled these maps into the Outland world space instead of having them in the Eastern Kingdoms world space. And because of that, in order to get from Ghostlands to the Eastern Kingdoms, we actually have to go through this portal right here instead of just walking seamlessly. And it'll be interesting to see if they update this with the future expansion of Midnights, which would actually be a great way to preserve this area because it would just remain in the Outland worldscape, but then they would just add a brand new area that we can explore in Midnights without basically removing these zones. I think that would be like a good way to implement that. But we can go ahead and go through this portal and we can see the Eastern Plague Lands, which is very, very cool, where we can find Aiden right here, which we actually cannot talk to right now. And it looks like he's actually a high elf, not a blood elf, excuse me. But he hangs out here, and we can see Akris the Ebonhold up there, and some undead here in Siege Vise, which is actually kind of fun for us to come here in the Eastern Plague Lands, because I think this is the zone that I have been in the most amount of Let's Play series. Where I've been here multiple times in streams, but I've been here in my Human Mage Let's Play series, I've been here in my Orc Shaman Let's Play series, and I've been here in my Draenei Paladin Let's Play series. For I've now been here in my Blood Elf Warlock Let's Play series, and I will be doing a Death Knight series next after this, where we will be in this map for a little bit. So I'll have been here in a total of 5 Let's Play series, plus a variety of streams, which I think is kind of fun. But let's go ahead and, oh, really quickly, we do have this lodge right over here, Qualithian Lodge. I don't exactly remember the name, but that is a lodge where you could find some blood elves that you could fight, or some high elves you could fight when you are questing through here as a member of the Horde, and now they are wretched. But let's go ahead and re-enter this area where we can see the Burning Crusade loading screen art right there, because we are entering the Burning Crusade world space of Outland, where we see the Outland map on that loading screen art. Right now, I just need to kill some more Ravagers and some Spindleweb, and then we could go turn in these 2 quests. But it's just so fun to see this area right here, and it's kind of fun to come through here authentically, because you could walk from like Sunstrider Isle, and you could walk with like this little portal right here that you have to take all the way down to Booty Bay in the Cape of Stranglethorn, which I think is fun. There's a large group of these spiders and these ghost claws here, so this should be good for us in order to complete this quest. Where there's another little pond over there, but it's a little bit less cool and still has some mushrooms on it, but less mushrooms, and it might just because we're kind of like out of the way, but there seems to be a few less plants as well. We can go check it out.
I need to get closer.
Alright, we have this Ravager here that I just dealt like half of its health to and damage. Just cast one more Shadow Bolt. There we go. And let's sneak this way really quickly. Where I do love the Hawk Strider mount that we have been riding on. Where there's quite a few plants around here as well, which is cool. But I still like it a little bit less. It's more of an oval instead of the circle that the other pond is. Killing that Ravager completes the quest, but another Ravager is attacking us. So let's just try to clear this group really quickly. And another spider's attacking us, so we just have a big fight right here. Let's go ahead and blow up our imps. One more Shadow Bolt should hopefully do it. We'll go ahead and get all of that loot, and let's head to the Sanctum of the Sun first, where I believe we can turn in this quest and we can pick up a bunch of quests that we can do next episode, where we are approaching the end of this episode of our journeys here through Quothalos, where I do think this Let's Play series is going to be just a little bit longer than our Draenei one, which I think is actually kind of fun. But let's come up here, where we have the Magister, where we do not meet the requirements for that quest. I'm not sure what that was about, but we have this quest here to go to the Far Strider Enclave, which we can do next episode, because we are learning about Darkhan, or Darkon, who is Darkon Drathir, who is the traitor that betrayed the Blood Elves. So next episode we can return to the Far Strider Enclave, and we can go ahead and begin exploring some very important areas related to Darkon. But first, let's come back over here where we have this little building off in the distance, which we can turn in our Clearing the Way quest, where we can clear the way to basically make this area a little bit safer from the wildlife so that we can lay siege to the Scourge.
Glory to the Sindora.
Where that is the end of that question there, and that is like the final major quest to kill some wildlife, where we have these quests to get some spinal dust and some rotting hearts, and then we can go to the Farstrider Enclave, which, as I've said, we can go ahead and do next episode. Because as far as this episode goes, I'm going to go ahead and call it good here, where I'm excited to finish up this zone in the next episode of our adventures, where I hope you all enjoyed watching this episode and our adventures in this episode, and I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Remember, as always, to drink some water, check your posture, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time in the world of Azeroth. Goodbye.